Okay, guys, we're going to have a go at doing some Inventor today. I think that I've actually closed Inventor down. So first thing I need to do is go to DT and open that back up again. It's this one, 2014. There's certain Inventor. I think the files are in there, but you can't open certain inventors. So it's worth going, like 2022, for example. It's worth going through D and T and just seeing which one is available. While that's opening, let us just have a look at what we're going to try and make today. This is Paul's shell. It's reasonably complicated. It's a funny old shape, and we're going to be 3D printing this as effectively as a loop, a funny shaped loop, or a tube. And then we're going to try and cut some bits and pieces in it. I'm not very good at Inventor, so I'm going to muddle through. So bear with me. There might be times where I get things wrong, and we may have to go back, or there might be bits edited or whatever. Yeah, the idea will be that we draw this shape, and then we extrude it, and then we make a hole through it. Once we make the hole through it, we then are going to make a little shelf around the outside. The wall thickness, the total wall thickness is going to be 6mm, and we're going to divide that into 3 and 3. So there's going to be a sort of frame on the outside of 3, and then it's going to step down, and there'll be another 3 inside. It gets a bit confusing because also the depth of that step is also going to be 3, and that's going to be 3 because it's the width of a piece of acrylic. Okay, so a number of different bits and pieces to do there. I'll try and get the shape done, and then I can let you get along with that. And then we can look at putting some mounting points, some anchors in later. All right, so you get to Inventor, you go up to this one, this little arrow at the top here. I've pressed it already. Part. It's a big program, so it doesn't react particularly stealthily. It takes a while for everything to get going. So just waiting for that to fire up. Here we go. The idea behind Inventor is you draw a 2D image and then you extrude it to make it 3D, and then you will draw another 2D image on a plane of that object that you've created, and then you'll add to it or you'll subtract. It's sort of as easy as that, but I didn't get that for a number of years, and definitely I didn't understand a program called SolidWorks for a long time. Okay, here we go. We've got 3 planes. I'm going to select the bottom one. Let's just pop back to little drawing. I'm going to create a square, actually, a rectangle by 150 by 150, because that's those 2 dimensions. So here we go. I'm going to wait till it goes green. Can you see a little green circle? Pull it. We're in inches. Right, so what I'm going to do is finish that sketch. I'm going to get rid of that sketch because you don't want sketches that you're doing nothing with. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go to Tools. I'm going to go to Document Settings. I'm going to go to Units, and I'm going to go to Millimeters. There we go. And I'm going to apply that. Right. Let's check that audio is on. So we can now close, back to Sketch, 2D Design. Again on the bottom, I think you've only got to do that once. Once you've done it once, you don't need to do it again. But of course, we cancelled the drawing. See, we're in millimeters now. So what was it? 150. I'm now pressing Tab to jump to the other one, and I'm going to do 150. Tab. They're both 150, and now I can zoom out, and I'm pretty happy with that. I've got the square. Right. I'm going to go back to Paul's drawing, and I've got 50 along the top there. I've got 45 down. So what I'm going to do, and this isn't the right way of doing it, and Mr. Inchley would not like this very much at all. I've just created something over there. Is I'm going to, from that point there, draw, and this is what I always used to do when I tech drawed. I'm just going to put that in as 10, and the other one is going to be 50. And this is dimension that matters, the other one's just arbitrary. What I'm trying to do is get that point there. The other one, if we look back here, is 45. So I'm going to call that 45 by 45. Call it 45 by 10, but I definitely need 45 up. And why don't I do 45 and I'll just do 10? Yeah, just to make it clear. Okay, so we've got that point now. We need to drop down by 45. So from this point, I need to I go back to my rectangle. I've got drop down by 45. The graphics card seems to be suffering somewhat. And say no, it's not. I hadn't clicked it properly. 10. No, it's not. Sorry, that's 45. Tab 10. Tab. And now we've got the drop. Just going to check on that dimension. 45. So we're here now on the outside. And now I've got to connect those two together. So as long as I connect that point to that point, I should have the shape. So I'll stop doing that blasting thing. Let's go on to the straight line tool, and I'm going to join up all these dots. Not too sure if I need to do these ones, to be honest with you. Anyway, I'm going to do them just in case. Right, now I've made my shape, I'm going to extrude it. 3D model, extrude. And so what I should be able to do is select different shapes. Can you see that I've got this shape here? I can extrude it, or I could do this one. Click off that now, I think. Or I could do that one. Oh dear. I should have done this. If I don't know how to go back. I'm going to go to cancel. I'm going to go to annotate, 3D model, extrude. And what I should really be selecting is this one. Okay, I shouldn't be messing around. All right, I need to extrude that by, what did Paul have on his drawing? 115. So back to this. The distance I need to extrude is 115. Okay, so now we've got the shape we want. Brilliant. Okay, that's it. That's the shape. Now we've got to cut a hole through the middle of it. Right, you see we've got no sketches up in this tree. The sketch, in actual fact, if I open my extrusion, is here. That's my sketch. It's now gone into the extrusion, which is good. I would like a shell, a wall thickness of 6. So I'm going to go into 3D model, and I'm going to put a shell function in there. That means I'm going to sort of hollow it out. And I'm going to put 3mm. I'm going to select that face. Now, what's going to happen now? Well, unfortunately, can you see that it doesn't go all the way through? It sort of hollows everything out, but leaves the bottom. Now, I think if I right, there we go. It's not an automatic face chain. If I click off of that, now can you see that I can select the faces that I want to hollow out? I know it doesn't really look like it's gone all the way through, but I'm really hoping it has. If I press the left mouse button, I can actually move that up and down, by the way, okay? So I'm pretty pleased with that. That's 6. I've done it as 3, so that's incorrect. I'm going to change that to 6. That's better. And press OK. If I had done that incorrectly, by the way, I could just double click on that and come back and change it to 10, for example. You know, press OK, and then, oh no, I've done it wrong. Just back in there and back into 6. It's quite good like that. Right, so we've got our wall thickness of 10. This is where it gets a little eggy now. It isn't exactly rocket science, this bit, I don't think. But what I'm going to try and do is create a wall which is 3mm away, or stepped in. Obviously that's 6mm. I want to step in 3. So I'm going to start doing that by producing a sketch, 2D sketch. There we go, and I'm going to go to that top face. When I get to that top face, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in 3x3, 3 tab, 3 tab. And that, of course, point is exactly in the middle of those two. It's exactly in the middle of those two. It's going to get a bit eggy in a minute. I'm also right configuration. Right, I'm not happy with this because it wasn't locked into the corner. Right, here we go. 3 tab, 3 tab, 3 tab. I'm just pressing enter on that. 3 tab, 3 tab. This is the one. I want to get to about here, don't I? So I think it's going to be I'm going to go with 1.5. Yeah, tab, 3 tab. Well, I'm going to do exactly the same down here, I think, because it's the same angle, it's probably the same. I'm going to go with 1.5 tab, 3 tab. And I've got my last one up here. 3 tab, 3 tab. Right. So now I've got my points, and this isn't, that's certainly not the right way to do it. Mr. Inchley would be doing it in 2 seconds using some sophisticated tool that I have never come across. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make sure that I can create lines going from these corners. Make sure it's green every time. Right, so now you can see we've got that inner shape. So I'm going to go back to extrude. And if I just go, I'm going to spin that round again because it's really that way up, I think, isn't it? Yeah. And now if you can see that what I've done is I've made a massive solid shape coming out of it, and we don't want that. So there's 2 ways you can do this. If you go in, you cut into it, and of course I want to cut into it 3mm because that is the thickness of my acrylic. Okay, so now we can see a little shelf being created. And that's the next bit. So I'm hoping this is going to work. Yeah, great. So that's the next bit I want to do, and I want to do the same on the other side. So what I'll do is I'll pause it here whilst I do the same on the other side, and then I'll pick it up in just 2 ticks. Okay, gents, I've done both sides now, just to show you. So I'm going to finish this little tutorial off by just showing you the fillet tool, I think it is, which lives in the 3D tools, and it's quite fun. So the 3D, what it will do is it will create a curved edge on these corners. So I've at the moment got a radius of 2. Now, given that that is 3mm, I can't go above 3. And in actual fact, I don't even think I can go on 3. I think I've got to go below 3. So I'm going to make this to have a radius of 2.5 instead. And then what I can do is I can choose these edges and I can round them, which is pretty cool. It just makes the whole product look a little bit more professional. And there we go. I'm also going to choose that one. In actual fact, I'm going to choose all of them, I'll be honest with you. That one, and that one, and that one. I've chosen all those. So I'm going to spin this round. I'm not choosing that one. I'm not choosing that one. So all of the external edges, what are we doing here? I think we're okay there. Have now been rounded. So I'm going to press OK. And you can see now I've got all the rounded edges, which looks pretty groovy. And I've also got this little shelf, which my piece of acrylic would sit into. So I think I'm going to call that there. I'm going to save my work, and I'm going to do the next bit, which is the plugs. All right.